When I was asked by the senior class to be their graduation speaker, I was overcome, humbled, and believe it or not, rendered just for a moment, momentarily speechless. As the shock began to wear off, and I began to understand the significant responsibility in carrying communication, two thoughts came to me. The first, I would have to iron my robe. The second, more serious thought, could I do justice to the class of 2013, a class of exceptional athletes, artists, scholars, leaders, and friends? To begin, I reflected on the more than 3 graduations that I have heard in my lifetime. I recall one here at Foxcroft, whose main theme was like a Tammy Wynette song, Stand By Your Man. The central message behind every successful man during his sports. I don't suppose the seniors would be interested in that one. At my daughter's college graduation, the speaker lamented the lack of jobs out in the world, suggesting only 50% would be employed by the end of the next year, and then finished asking the graduates to donate money to the school in gratitude for their education. Somehow, I don't think your parents would be interested in that one. I have much in common with the class of 2013. Most of you arrived on this campus as freshmen 4 years ago. I arrived here exactly 40 years ago. So what's an extra zero among friends anyway? Nonetheless, we are both moving on to new adventures, both excited about what is before us, both perhaps feeling a bit of trepidation about stepping into something new, and certainly, especially at this moment, both feeling nostalgic, perhaps a little sad about what we are leaving behind. If life at boarding school is a bubble, then I have spent the majority of my life savoring every moment of that bubble. I would contend, however, that life in this bubble offers us much in what we need to know about living a successful and fulfilling life. I confess, as a speaker, I am somewhat limited. I can't give you advice on how to live an extraordinary life full of risks and spectacular events. I can't shed light on world peace or becoming a CEO. Thus far, my life, much of it spent here at Foxcroft, has been a simple, ordinary life. A life lived precisely as I have wished. The great joys of my life can be listed in 4 uncomplicated categories: family, gardening, teaching and learning, and sports. So I'll stick to those areas I know best. As so much of literature teaches us, we are products of where we are from, our experiences, and our character. Family is our first and most important influence. Friends are those who become our chosen family, affecting us nearly as much as those with whom we began our lives. My family is my greatest joy in life. Nothing is better, more valuable, or more important. Nothing gives greater pleasure or offers more purpose than family. Those who love can fill an empty place, celebrate a wonderful accomplishment, or soothe a deep wound with a simple hug. Something an iPhone can never do. These are the people that will believe you and support you throughout your life. Know them, seek them out, value them, thank them, rely on them, but most of all, be one of them. Friends till the end and loyal to the royal are not just Foxcroft sayings. They are mottos by which to live your life, and that's not a bubble, that's a life lesson. Live your life as you would plant a garden. Plant it, dig in and get your hands dirty. Experiment, adjust the weather, unexpected storms, and then sit back and watch it grow. Include the visually beautiful, the flowers that adorn and enrich your life, emotions, pleasures. Plant the vegetables you can feed and nurture. Store some of those vegetables for later. Plant something new every year to expand and broaden your garden. Consider the balance that you will need diversity, soul, an array of colors for maximum effect, different sizes and textures to make it interesting and full. Listen to the advice of more experienced gardeners. Implement the ideas which seem worthy. Weed out the ones that don't fit. Think most of all of what suits you. It may be all flowers, it may be all vegetables. Listen always to others, but think for yourself. Foxcroft excels at nurturing girls and leaders, at discovering their voices. Foxcroft sowed the seeds for your future garden. Now the garden is in your hands. When necessary, be the thorn on the road. Be the voice of dissent, or at least have a voice. Don't be content, just to be in the garden. No one ever accused me, for good or bad, of not having something to say. Silence suggests acceptance. Sometimes dissent for the right reason brings clarity, and at times when needed, change. Don't fear being the unwanted thorn or the thistle. Thistles eventually grow a brilliant purple flower. Some who know me may suggest that I am a competitive person. For a long time, I would disagree, as though I was ashamed of my desire to compete, to do well. A competitive nature was something to be admired in men, but something to be embarrassed about in a woman. Competitive women were labeled as too aggressive, bossy, or not feminine. I emphatically reject these stereotypes. I have seen most of the class of 2013, a particularly gifted athletic class, out on the field and court, thriving in the fierce of competition, and I admire it, applaud it, and encourage it. Whether you are sweating from running up and down the length of a field, or sweating over whether you can apply for a job a colleague desires, just do it. Competition isn't always about winning. It's about meeting your own personal expectations. It's about playing the game, forming your potential for you and for the other team. You can't win a race if you don't enter. You can't win a riding class if you don't go through the gate. You can't get the dream job if you don't apply. Winning is sometimes rare, but you strive to do your best. Self-motivation to excel at your highest level, regardless of the venue, is imperative. The greatest disappointment is to not compete, to not strive for excellence, to not care enough to be the individual best in all that you do. If you are not feeling the desire to excel, what you are doing doesn't matter enough to you. Complacency and disinterest are our worst enemies. If it matters to you, it has meaning, your energy will fuel you. Your eagerness will rise in anticipation of the challenge. You will relish what is in front of you, its freshness, even its adversity. If you find yourself in college thinking about cutting classes in your major, you better come up with a new major. Later in life, if you don't want to get up in the morning and go to your job, get a new one. If you have something that drives you, propels your interest, you will never have a bad day at work or in life. Every day in the classroom was a new day for me. Yes, some of the books were the same, but the students were always different, and so were their voices. In the 19 times that I taught it, I never tired of teaching Gatsby, of seeing it anew for each class that stepped into Fitzgerald's wonderful, vivid world. I looked forward to it eagerly, waiting to see what each of you would think, how you would respond towards gorgeous poetry of his diction, if I could get you to love it as much as I did. Every single year, at least one student would offer up a comment, an observation, that made it fresh and new to me. When it was over, I thought about how it could be better the next year, what I might have done differently. My passion for teaching remained with me every day I entered the academic building. The literature was the core, but the students gave it significance. Demand the same for yourself. Dare to live a life of meaning and fulfillment on any scale, large or small. Be a teacher and a learner. Reject the mediocre. Celebrate purpose and worth. Live a life of personal value. Live, as the road challenges us to do, deliberately. Some things in life will not come easily, they never do. It takes courage to take risks, try something new, or work hard when the odds seem against you. A student once expressed her frustration to me that her writing wasn't progressing as she wanted. The student was an exceptional hockey player. I asked her how much time she spent practicing every day, and she replied about 2 hours in season, and that she attended a summer camp for 2 weeks every summer. Well, imagine if she had invested that kind of time in honing her writing skills. She wasn't born a writer any more than she was born a hockey player. She just worked at one more than she did the other. There are few things in life that hard work won't get for you. Every study indicates that those who succeed the most in life are those that work the hardest, not the ones who are the most gifted. So, you have no excuses here. If you want it, seek it the old-fashioned way. Work for it. Earn it. Don't expect favors, exceptions to the rules, or exemptions. Put in the time, the effort, and you will have satisfied, at least, and most importantly, yourself. It takes courage to work hard, especially when you fail or fall short. It takes more courage to get back up and try again harder. You will make mistakes, take wrong turns in life. Like Huck and Jim, you will find yourself too far downriver without a way to get back up. Nevertheless, you will get back on track and perhaps, like Huck, discover a genuine friend along the way. Most mistakes are not as terrible as you think they are. Some of those mistakes might bring unexpected pleasure. One of the more memorable papers I ever received was from a student exploring the trail of the American penal system in literature. She titled the paper, "The Penile System." 15 cases, 200 peniles, and 12 years later, she and I both laughed at delight over this error. Mistakes will happen. If you don't learn to laugh at your mistakes, then you will miss some of life's unexpected pleasures. In the last almost 100 years, and particularly in the last 5, Foxcroft has built magnificent buildings. Each building is different, but similar, held together by a cohesive design and vision shared by those that have loved school. You are all departing now to grow your own gardens, to learn to teach and to expand your family. Nonetheless, you are an innate part of those buildings where you worked, studied, played, and had dance parties. Your memories live there. If buildings are the physical foundation of a school, students are its soul. They bring all the essential intangibles which define the school spirit and make it special. From cupboard where Foxhound teachings initiated you into the school and where you had your yearly class dinner, to the library where morning meetings entertained, informed, and inspired us, to the big box where Foxhound games were contested and where you had your senior lunch, to the dorm common room where house mothers gave parties and you watched marathons of your favorite shows on TV. Those moments, housed inside those buildings, are what bring the joy, the warmth, the intimacy, the memory, the spirit and essence of us, Foxcroft. It is the inside that defines who we are, never the exterior building. The message is simple. Cherish family and friends, work hard and with passion. Always compete at your highest level and nurture and grow your garden. And just one more thought to leave with you. I began by referencing the Stand By Your Man graduation speech. Well, we all need people to stand by us, to believe in us, as your families have, your roommates have, your teachers, house mothers, and coaches have. But when you need additional counsel or bolstering, don't forget the other friends you met at Foxcroft and let them help guide you on the right path. Look to, have your friend for courage and grace in adversity. To Henry David Thoreau for moral conviction. To Walt Whitman as the voice of equality and acceptance. To Ralph Waldo Emerson for self-reliance and individualism. To Chris McCandless for the courage to take risks. And finally, and most of all, to Jake Astor for always believing in